Okay, ladies. So, if I were to tell you that my first spooky stop on our tour of Arizona would take us to one of my favorite towns in Arizona, where do you think we would be going?
Jerome.
Got it in
I'm
one.
gonna go. Oh, I was gonna say Flagstaff.
Oh, that's a good one too. But where? Okay, so second level, where specifically in Jerome?
They're the Grand Hotel.
Haunted Burger. Or Ghost
Good
Burger.
guesses.
It's one or the other.
Those are both good guesses, but not quite. So, I am Amber, your tour guide for this episode of Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre. And tonight, I'll be telling my co-hosts, Amy and Joe, all about the Crib District and a few surrounding areas in Jerome, Arizona. And then just as a warning before we get started, reminder that you can find content warnings for this episode in the description below. Okay. The pause is always funny, and you can hear the cat, so
Yeah.
I can pause and edit that out.
Or not.
Whatever works.
Fine. All right, so a bit about Jerome before we begin, and then just as a heads up, I do have a very loud cat, so if you hear her throughout this episode, she's not a ghost, she is alive, just a cat.
But she does like to be the center of attention and get in Amber's face when she's on the computer. So
That is, yes, there is a very high probability that my cat will be visible if you are watching this on YouTube. So if you like cats, come follow us on YouTube. So, Jerome, Arizona is a very, very small town founded in the Black Hills of Yavapai County, which is one of our counties in mostly mid-ish Arizona. I would say mid to north Arizona. We're actually a very broad, very big state, not very highly populated. So there is that. But it was founded in the late 19th century. So it was incorporated in 1899, just came in under the wire. And founded on, my favorite fact, I didn't know the landmark of this hill, Cleopatra Hill, which is, I mean, what a bomb name for it. What a bomb name for a town to be built on, right? Jerome sits at about 5,000 feet elevation and is built on a series of very winding streets, kind of a very uphill climb city. Love the city, would highly recommend visiting, even without the ghosts, but you are getting ready for a steep walk along to get through the city. And it's located off of State Route 89A between Sedona and Prescott, so about 100 miles outside of Phoenix. All right. Pop quiz. Joe, Amy, what do you know about Jerome's history?
mining, ghosts, brothels. That's what I got.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only thing I know about it is about a lot of mining. Like mining was the big founding of the entire town.
Pretty much anywhere in Arizona you go, mining.
Yeah.
Mining. Yeah, we were boom towns. We were all a series of boom towns. Well, you are correct. This is 100% a boom town, a mining boom town. It was populated by rich copper mines. So Arizona is the copper state, and this was a very big copper mining town. In its heyday, it housed up to 10,000 people at some points working the copper mines, and it was essentially founded by the United Verde Mines. And so they had their own mine, which is called the UVX, or United Verde Extension, or the name I like for it, which is the Little Daisy Mine, which sounds very cute for the amount of horrors and tragedies that are just usually found in mines, like, period. Love slapping a cute name on that one, so.
Do you think they were just like trying to lure people into the mine? Like, it's the Little Daisy! Come visit!
Yeah.
It's so cute and quaint! Like a little B&B. Nope.
You will 100% love working here. Don't look at that guy. He just lost his hand. Anyway, Daisy, right? This is what we want.
Need another tequila filter for this.
I'm actually I'm so warped in my brain that to me I'm like, Oh, I feel like they're trying to lure little kids in there to get into the little nooks and crannies that nobody else could get into.
Little fingers are just...
laws at the time, I don't think. So, could have been.
Oh, no, especially not out on, like, the southwest frontier, where everybody's, like, traveling away from the laws. Like, I don't think they were that worried about it.
Oh man.
Next
Anyway.
fun fact. Obviously, population dwindled down after the mines closed, so it got down to about 100. A population from 10,000 down to 100
Wow.
after those mines closed. And the town is actually named after one of the financiers of the mine, Eugene Jerome. So they just took his last name and plopped it on top of a town. They had Cleopatra Hill, so I really don't know what they were doing with Eugene Jerome, but whatever.
Who fucking knows, man? Like, remember about him is he was a white dude, and I think he was like, I can never remember if it was that he was into witchcraft or if he was a polygamist. But either way, people hated him.
I feel like both is a like at the same time, right?
Yeah. That's a story
Use the
I wanna
witchcraft
know.
to get all the best wives around you,
Yes,
right?
there you go.
All the best wives. I bring all the best wives to the yard. Yeah. my witchcraft brings all the wives to the yard. Yeah, there it is.
I love it.
All right, write that one down as an episode title.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, we're gonna start a t-shirt list.
I actually have my little Kindle Scribe, so I can take notes as we go.
I
Oh,
like it.
perfect.
I like
Merch
it.
coming never, but
I
in
love
our
it. So wait,
in our
I
hearts
have
and
to-
dreams.
I have to ask, if my witchcraft brings all the brides to the yard, is a drink? Like, what is the base
Ooh.
liquor
Tequila.
in that one? Oh, yeah.
Tequila's a fair one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I support that.
However, Joe, do jot down that we are making a t-shirt and a drink. So, well, tequila, yes, we'll figure out the details later, right?
But wait, tequila or mezcal?
Ooh.
Mezcal, I think, is a bit smokier, and I think that would
Smoky.
delve into the witchcraft portion.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah. I'm going mezcal.
I think you're right. All right. I accept this edit of my drink. All right. Jerome's other name, as some may know it, is the wickedest town in the West, which was a nickname that was earned by the Sun in 1903, so only 4 years after it was a town, earned this name. And the town's initial peak in popularity and earning of this nickname had to do with the miners. So lots and lots of miners that we talked about earlier. And as Joe pointed out, the fun things the miners also brought in, such as drinking, gambling, and whorehouses.
Brothels!
Wouldn't be a mining town without a brothel.
Would not be a mining town without several brothels, as we will definitely be talking about here. Early in Jerome's history, actually, sex workers were located right next to saloons out on Main Street. They were able to walk through town advertising. They were pretty, respected enough in their trade for their time. And sex workers, however, were eventually pushed to be less visible in Jerome. So we had this big shift of with the miners brought the brothels. And then as the miners, started settling down, their wives maybe not wanting their husbands for some reason to be enjoying the brothel, decided that
Husband, I'd want him at a brothel every night.
that's just the place I store my husband overnight, actually. Like,
I get my 8 hours of beauty sleep. Honey, you go to the brothel and find something fun to do,
me
okay?
and my girls need a free night for mezcal and witchcraft, so you gotta go to the brothel.
Yes.
Oh man, that's the history of Jerome I wanna know about. I wanna read that alternate history of Jerome.
I'm telling you. And there's the cat.
Unfortunately, yeah. Oh yeah, here she is.
It's a Dinah.
She sensed that I was going to show her on screen, and she decided nope. Normally she like perks up when people get to look at her and admire her and all of her beauty.
Always has to be on her terms.
Always on her terms. All right. But no, so I don't have an exact date of when it really happened, but essentially what we had is in Jerome's early history, you had the brothels that were kind of out and about on Main Street. You had sex workers able to walk around very, very freely. And then along the way, they were eventually pushed to be in some of the back alleys. So instead of being located on Main Street, they were pushed into alleyways behind Main Street and behind saloons so that minors could still go and use their services, but nobody really had to think about the sex workers too much as one does.
Because, why would we ever want to think about sex workers?
Why?
Not like they literally put their lives on the line for their work.
Ladies?
I was going to say, speaking of, let's shove them all in the most dangerous places of the town where people can't see what happens.
And that is precisely why the topic of this episode is going to be Crib District, a.k.a. Husband's Alley, a.k.a. the Red Light District of Jerome. So tonight we're going to be talking about some unfortunate ghosts and some unfortunate ladies. We're going to just be, bringing up some of their stories as they are still said to be wandering around the town today. And they don't get as much attention as some of the miners or some of the hospital victims of the Grand Hotel. So tonight's subject, we are going to be talking about where Crib District is and who are some of the people who worked there and that are maybe still kicking around today. So Crib District, if you've never seen, there is, I believe, one plaque in Jerome on one of the businesses that calls out its nature as a former bordello and brothel. But Crib District is not quite as well marked from my last visit. It could have been more. But it's actually located below Main Street as you enter Diaz Street in Jerome. So if you're ever in there, that's where you can look for it. Prostitution was technically made illegal with this move of women to this back alley Crib District, but it continued to thrive till the 1940s because men still wanted to have sex.
Shocker. Sex work is going to be around forever. Just like you can't get rid of abortions just by banning them. It's still going to be there.
Yeah, and the mentality, of course, was not, okay, let's let them have sex, but let's hide the fact. Let's make it bad and hide it and allow things to maybe not always go so smoothly.
Also, again, fucking sexist because it's women and they literally called it Husband's Alley. Yep. It's the men giving them this work. Those are the fucking assholes you should be calling out.
Yep. Always. Or grow up and get cool with sex work. Like that's the other thing is like you ladies get a book club together and maybe let's just let it happen.
Yeah.
Oh well, I can't. Wasn't there. Can't speak for it.
It's in the past.
In the past. But I will say the alley was behind saloons that minors could essentially step out discreetly, and it was kind of a big shift of keeping it an open secret in Jerome. So obviously, as one can imagine, as we've already kind of surmised, this led to a lot of violence being introduced to sex work in Jerome. This was a very hierarchical business to be in nature. So you did have the, kind of the Old West idea we have of kind of the bordello madams and like the ladies underneath her that you kind of like see satirized in Old West media or even just present in Old West media, like old Western films. That's kind of what it looked like. It is really like that until we kind of moved to the district. So I will be talking about a few other ghosts of ladies who were kind of pre-Crib District era, who are still said to be kind of lingering around, but we did have kind of that Old West hierarchy, and then it moved into that hush-hush, like we don't talk about the fact that our husbands are sleeping around all the time, So
they all lost their protection of all the madams that watched over them and protected them.
And would try to help, at least make things visible and keep things in mind. Yes. Yep. We will get to talk about a couple of badass women in this, though, who, like I said, were kind of out and around, as always. Right. And with that, ladies, that is my brief talking tour of Jerome itself. So let's get into the ghosts, who are some of the sex workers, or as they're often called, sporting ladies of Jerome.
Sporting ladies.
Sporting ladies. Because it's apparently akin to playing a sport.
I think of some, like, MILF playing pickleball when you say that.
I mean, that must be what they were all into. I don't know. Oh, Joe's Googling. I think she's checking. Sporting ladies. Yes. So it's sporting. A polite way of saying sex worker.
Let's see. Doesn't tell me anything about where it comes from. It just says a woman who engages in sexual intercourse. Other terms are also bawd, coquette, Cyprian, fancy woman, harlot,
fancy one,
lady of pleasure, tart, and woman of the street.
Tart.
I like tart too.
That's not bad. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
It could be a hooker. It could be anything.
You don't know.
And either way, you're probably going to be happy, you know?
I mean, right?
I will say, though, I do kind of amongst a lot of other choices on this, I kind of respect sporting lady, because, like, it's a lot of work, you know?
Yeah,
it's not an easy job.
It's a marathon, like, let's be honest.
Especially
not
how many clients you're seeing a day, man.
Exactly, and not just the work, but, like, the acting like it's like, oh, yeah,
Mr. Smith, it's the biggest I've ever seen every fucking time.
I hate that I have to even take money from you. Yeah.
It doesn't look weird at all.
Your wife's a bitch for not wanting to have sex with you every night. I don't know why I became Southern. We're in the Southwest, but...
I mean, you never fucking know. So I will tell you, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but if you go to, like, any older, like, smaller town in Arizona and you run into, like, older gentlemen that have been here since, like, the early 1920s, they're, like, cowboys, they do have a bit of a Southern twang to them. And it's really fucking weird because it's always really high-pitched. Like, think the sheriff from Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers. That's the voice.
It's okay. What a deep cut, but I am taken there instantly.
I mean, yeah, because until you said that, I was going like Foghorn.
Yeah. Sheriff from Boo Brothers? Wait a second.
Done, yeah.
It's always that weird, like, high-pitched Southern dude voice. It's so weird.
I love that.
That's so funny.
Anyway, carry on.
Ghost. Yes.
Ghost.
And speaking of Boo Brothers, oh my God, we're so good at this, guys.
What a segue!
Planned. All planned.
Planned it all out in my head.
Oh my God, we're naturals. So I'm going to be talking around a few different places, mostly within the Crib District and a few different people, but also throughout Jerome. So the first one is going to be what is referred to as the quote-unquote spook hall ghost. And this is a girl who was... Oh, I have to read you this quote. Now, I'll have to find where I quoted it from so I can, like, link a little reference or whatever. I got it from one of my sources. I forgot to cite it. I'm a bad person.
Oops.
But, like, listen to this reporting. It's not even of the woman in the time. It's written about the ghost nowadays, and it's very bad. This quote is the reason why I chose this subject for Jerome. The spook hall ghost was not the only unfortunate girl who lost her reputation as well as her life in a mining camp filled with rowdy men. As if her reputation is akin to losing her goddamn life.
I know, like I'm sure that's what she regrets of everything.
I'm sure.
Had to be written by one of the fucking Boo Brothers sheriff-voiced cowboys in fucking
It's in flesh.
Had to.
I read that because I was like looking through places. I was like, I don't really want to do the Grand Hotel. I want to do something a little off the beaten path. And I read that and I was like, oh boy, howdy, do I know what I'm looking on.
Tell me a man wrote this without telling me a man wrote this.
Brutally.
Even like, yeah. Certainly not a progressive one, so. Yeah. But no, so that is in reference to the Lawrence Memorial Hall ghost. So Lawrence Memorial Hall was given the nickname Spook Hall because of its haunted reputation. I couldn't find really, and I didn't, to be honest, I was doing a broad scope, so I didn't dig too deep into exactly where that nickname came from. Lawrence Hall, fun fact, used to be a J.C. Penney, and it stands on top of where several of the cribs used to exist. And another fun fact, they were called cribs because they were little shacks where these sporting ladies lived and then also saw clients. So they kind of kicked them off their bordellos on Main Street, and then they set up like tiny little shanties, like a little shanty town, but behind the saloons, and so those were called cribs because they were so small. So yes, this went from a crib district to a memorial hall, and I think it gives like just kind of some general history stuff.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how they fit a fucking JCPenney in there. Like, I don't know.
It's got to be like a full street. Like, it's got to be bigger. Like, but yeah, it's Jerome. Even thinking about it, is very windy, and there's not like a lot of big patches. So it must have been. Yeah. It's got to be why it's no longer a JCPenney, because it's got to have been the smallest, weirdest shaped JCPenney of all time.
Yeah.
So. Good Lord.
And also no report on when it was a JCPenney. So I don't know if it was like a really, really old JCPenney when it was still like not a huge department.
No report because it was probably super tiny and lasted like a month.
It was in and out.
Was it maybe just somebody's home who was named JCPenney?
Wait, we might be onto something there. That might be closer. But no, so the report...
We're going to get sued by JCPenney, you guys.
We're going to get sued. We're going to get so much... We're going to like release this episode and people are going to be like, it just insta-hate.
Shut it down.
Yeah, I'll pick up the cat and show her again before the end to try and save face.
Who other than our grandmothers still shop at JCPenney? Let's be honest. I don't hear of a lot of people doing that nowadays.
That's true. Nobody who shops at JCPenney will listen to this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Next thinking, yeah. Safe. Okay, good.
They'll never know.
They'll never know. They can't. I don't even have an IT department.
I know. Everybody else is gonna be like, "What the hell is JCPenney? What are they talking about?"
Yeah. See, but now we're double screwed because it's like, oh, we're upsetting the people older than us and they're JCPenney, and now we're upsetting all the younger than us Gen Zers because like, oh, these old women talking about a JCPenney.
I'm sorry we got stuck in the middle, okay?
I don't want to be a millennial either, so. All right. Ghosts. That's literally, that's the only way I know how to segue is ghosts. So the report of Lawrence Memorial Hall is that there is an unknown sex worker who was stabbed to death by a minor who came to see her in her crib. And she is seen today lingering outside the hall before kind of moving off and like kind of walking through the street off to one of the hotels. And not the Grand Hotel. There are actually various little hotels. So I wasn't able to get a name of the exact one, but it was like a little bed and breakfast hotel like around the area. So she is seen. She it doesn't seem like she talks. Nobody knows who she is or anything like that. And she was she was allegedly stabbed, but not a lot of report on who she was that I could find. Other than that, in the Crib District, we also have Sammy Dean. So Sammy Dean was another sex worker who died in 1931. She was strangled by a customer and is said to haunt the building she once lived and worked in. Her murder actually remains an unsolved case to this day, but allegedly it was tied back to a prominent member of town at the time who probably just couldn't get convicted.
So again, shocker that it's unsolved when their main suspect is a prominent figure of the community.
Yeah, unsolved, quote unquote. And she's kind of similar. She's just reported like being seen like walking around in the area, like. And I'll go over kind of the other reports, but other reports in general, if you are in the Crib District, are of feelings of being watched, sounds of phantom footsteps going up and down the street, A lot of the odor of perfume is very persistent, so a lot of people catch the odor of like very heavy, strong perfume. And seeing shadowy figures that move around, especially at nighttime when these workers probably would have been the most active. It's largely believed that the Crib District is still haunted by many sex workers that still kind of linger there, that we might not know their full stories.
Shocker. Because why would we ever record history for women, regardless of their work life? I'm trying to think of the word.
Yes, of their status and their education, their choice of career.
Yeah.
So, so those are the prominent sightings. That's kind of what is mainly seen, and it's a lot of kind of the same reports in different places. We've got the name of one worker, Sammy Dean, we think is there, and then a few other unknowns. So, and there really isn't a lot reported, especially because it was technically illegal. So there was not a lot that I could find. Granted, again, I did broad scope, and I'm more, focusing in on the paranormal, so I didn't go into depth too much into any of the murders and the backgrounds and to see how much of that I could dig up. But from what I saw, there was not a lot of names given. One woman in another part of Jerome who we do have a name for, however, is we have Madame Jenny Bowders. And I'm probably pronouncing the name wrong. It's Bauters, so I'm going Bowders and hoping for the best. But she actually is not predecessor, she is the protege of another famous madam, Nora Butter Brown. Nora Brown was considered to be Jerome's first madam and owned the first brothel in the camp, which was a 2-story building located where a famous building called the Sullivan Building stands today. Not famous, but just like still standing building. And she's credited for introducing Jenny Bowders to the lifestyle and kind of getting her set up. So then on to Jenny. Jenny is another madam of the town, and this is before. So she actually, Brown was when it was getting set up and everybody was out on the street still. She set up a bordello. Bowders actually did set up her own bordello, and then she was kind of alive during the time when that transition happened from bordellos to Crib Street. So she had a bordello in what was originally called the Clinksdale Building in 1899, which was on the site of like a fire, and it like all the buildings around it like kept burning down a couple times, but it was made of stone, so it like just didn't fucking burn down. And she eventually turned it into a bordello. It is now an inn. It's actually a bed and breakfast called the Mile High Inn, which is really cool. It's another place you can stay in Jerome. And she was the madam of the bordello. She oversaw lots of girls who worked throughout Jerome. And eventually she was around when they made the big move to push them into the Crib District. So didn't get into too many details. I don't know if they pretty much just like took the building away from her, or she could no longer afford to rent it or pay for it and eventually lost it. But it does call out that she was moved off of Main Street and into Husband's Alley along with the rest of the sex workers there. And then she as well allegedly lost her life to a client. Where her story is different is we actually don't see her haunting around the Crib District with any of the other sex workers. She sticks around the Mile High Inn. So that was her place.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants her place back.
She
worked hard.
Place. I worked hard for it.
You took it away
from me.
Yep.
Good.
I support that.
100%. And like after reading this, I was like, man, if I'm going to go do a Jerome visit, maybe this is the hotel I go to, But no, so she is definitely very strong-willed. Like that is her building, and that's a lot of her haunting too. Is she's like, this is my place, actually.
So she's not one of those like silent, shrinking violet haunters. She's like, get the fuck out of my building.
No. She was a madam. Like she ran shit, and she's still running shit. Like that's her entire person.
She's gonna
Please tell me she goes after men that come in that building. Like that's all I want to know.
I want that.
If you're a white dude, don't go in that building. That's what I want to hear.
She kicks you out. No, I didn't find anything about that. It's more actually like just passive aggressive stuff. Like so, there's the general stuff. Like she loves her layers. a lariat and lace room. And that's her favorite room. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it is. But she's got a favorite room in the house, and it's called the lariat and lace room. And she said her presence is most known in the kitchen. She keeps an eye in the kitchen. That was her space. And she makes her presence known by there being flying objects that come off the resting places at people. Specifically nice. When people don't put things away properly. She says, fuck you. And she throws across the room. And she's like,
what?
You better do it right.
If I invite her into my kitchen, can she...
Oh, it's destroyed. It's all gone. It's all destroyed.
Anytime the boys don't put something away, anytime Kyle doesn't put something away, it gets thrown at them.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like,
violently.
Socks that don't make it into the hamper, does it just, like, nail him in the head? Like, I love it. I want her to come to my house.
So yeah, that's 100% her MO. She does not like, that's her place. If you don't keep it in order, like, bitch, you better leave. Like, that's the vibe, right?
I am 100% on board.
She also, my other favorite thing is she moves furnishing and smaller objects around at the end. So it's like, she's just like, I don't really like where you put that chair, so I'm going to fix it for you.
Like, you tacky bitch. You're not decorated the way you should be.
This picture frame's stupid off the wall. Like, entirely. That's it.
I love that.
She also, so one nice thing she does, I haven't found anything specifically about her being mean to men, but she is nice to the maids and service workers who clean, if they clean right. Because when maids and cleaners come into the room, she will turn on the radio for them sometimes.
Oh, so, very nice.
She plays them a little bit of music while they work. Which
this is maybe a person, okay?
I am in love with her, frankly.
I mean,
my favorite.
When I die, I want to be her. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
That's it. I hope to aspire to that level of, like, in charge / petty. Like,
that
it's
would be so awesome.
And I respect that. I respect that about her.
For
but no, so that is, but it's great. And I'm sure some of those maids and, like, cleaners don't feel like it's a nice gesture. I'm sure they're, like, freaked the fuck out if they're, like, cleaning a room and all of a sudden, like, a radio's playing and they're like, I need to leave now. I should have quit yesterday. But me sitting here never having experienced a haunting, I'm like, oh, how sweet. That's
awesome. Yeah.
I mean, so long as it's something nice playing and it's not like death metal, get the fuck out of here type music, I think it's a nice gesture, you know? And
I love that.
On the person, the death metal might also be welcomed.
I love that. I just love the premise of, like, what if she just, like, really clicks with death metal and she's like, this is it. This is what was missing in my time being alive.
Right?
I need to expose people to this. And people are like, oh my god, she's a demon.
I know. But, like, how does she choose music? Like, there's no way she's finding music that she was used to on the radio station right now,
exactly.
Right? So, like, how does she choose, like, I don't know, some Beyonce or.
I was gonna say, I think it's gotta be like Beyonce. She just, like, hears somebody, like, she's a diss track,
powerful
and
woman,
some powerful. And she's like, that one, man, that's the one. Yeah.
I like this.
Like it.
I like her. So that's all I have of her haunting. She's apparently very, very active. She likes to still try to run the place. She's still very active in the inn. But yeah, she's, you know, she passed on and she is one of the few who is living her best afterlife. So
good for her.
Good for her.
That's another t-shirt. Living my best afterlife.
Living my best afterlife.
Yes. I got you.
Amber's hosting. Joe's taking notes. I'm just here to drink, ladies. I'm just here to drink.
You know, but that's the best part about the show is we'll rotate. And so, like, next week, I'll take notes. Joe just drinks. And the week after that, we just, you know.
Oh, no, I'm just
going.
drinking on every episode. So, we'll see.
Damn it.
Episode, you have to lead. God damn it.
Amber can edit me to sound coherent a little bit.
You're putting a whole lot of faith into my editing capabilities. I picked this program because it's like, we make editing so easy.
Okay, so mine are going to have to be, I don't know, taped at like 8 a.m., I guess. I don't know. With a mimosa, though.
No.
Just saying.
We're not fucking doing that shit.
You have to do yours dry. Yours will be done with the coffee that comes before the mimosa.
No.
Sorry, Amy. Did it to yourself.
Dang it.
You should have got a few episodes in before you told us your plan, man. You had a chance.
I know. I'm just going to in my coffee cup. I'll be like, this is not a wine cup. It's a coffee cup. I promise.
The one she uses for coffee that is on screen at work, our boss always asks, is that wine? No, sir. Wish it was, but no.
Knowing her, that's a good question. Like, that's not an unreasonable thing to ask.
It's a very valid question.
Anyway.
Next ghost. Let's go.
Yeah.
She's actually, I saved the best for last. She is my last ghost. So lots of like little occurrences around, and then, went out with a bang with Madam Jenny Bowders. Probably saying that name wrong.
Close enough.
Spell it for me. I gotta.
Bauters.
Yeah.
Probably.
Bowders. Maybe, but
Bowders, yeah.
Bowders, yeah, maybe Bowders.
Bowders.
All right, we're closing out then our ghost segment with Madam Jenny Bowders.
Bowders.
Yeah.
Bowders. Bowders betters.
Any one of them. Madam Jenny. Madam Badass.
Yeah.
Madam Badass
Jenny.
yourself. All right. So, with that being the end of my ghost stories, what do you think? Have I convinced you to maybe take a closer look around Jerome the next time you guys head up north?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know about that area of it before.
Me neither.
Be interesting to check out. Day trip idea, guys.
Yeah. We can.
Oh my God, we can film. We will do a whole, honestly, like my dream, do a ghost hunt anyway. So
oh, yes.
We'll ghost hunt Jerome. Available exclusively on Patreon. Ha ha ha.
Jerome happens to be my favorite town in Arizona too. I love Jerome. I love it.
I do truly love Flagstaff, absolutely. But Jerome is just such a unique little town. So even outside of like, and that's my happy close today is Jerome's population 1920s was at a booming 10,000, and it now luckily is still open and around today with a population of 464. So it peaked at bottom at barely 100 people, around 100 people, and it's actually gone back up. So there was a huge effort to save the town. A lot of these mining towns, once the mines dry up, they close and they become abandoned places.
Ghost towns. Yeah.
Complete ghost towns. And this one gets kind of the quirky nickname of ghost town, but even the residents joke that it's more because it's haunted and not because it's completely empty. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's actually also cool that Jerome is a National Historic Landmark as of 1967. So the whole town is a historic landmark.
Didn't know that.
Which is very cool. That means it's going to be here to stay. So it will be preserved. Lots of places in the town are actively being preserved in Jerome. So it will be around hopefully for a while. Now the town focuses on tourism, with plenty of arts, galleries, hotels, coffee houses, restaurants, and museums. So yes, if you are curious of visiting Jerome, you might not find any of the cribs in the crib district still standing, but you have the city is still there. There's plenty to see. There will be, areas you can walk around. And you still have the Mile High Inn. You have the Lawrence Memorial Hall that used to stand where some of those places were that you can visit. And the last little shout out, I have a few more places you can look at around Jerome if you do happen to be there. You can also look at the abandoned mining shaft below Cleopatra Hill. It's visible from the road, and if you they do some tours where they'll take you kind of close to it, but do just want to call out that it is not an urban exploration destination. Please do not try to enter any mine ever, because that is extremely, extremely dangerous. But there is like a little plaque you can visit nearby it and kind of see it from parts of Jerome, which makes it really cool. There's also the Jerome Cemetery, which has plenty of their own reports of shadows and voices and footsteps. And as we said at the beginning, the Jerome Grand Hotel and the Haunted Hamburger are great places that are known to be haunted. So
I love me the Haunted Hamburger, places. I gotta say.
It's a good hamburger too. Like,
I mean, it's a fantastic hamburger. Fantastic.
All right, and that is a wrap on Jerome. So once again, I'm Amber.
I'm Joe.
Amy.
I'm supposed to go in.
We're getting used to this. And this has been Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre. If you like this episode, please consider reviewing and sharing our show. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like what we do and want to help us cover more macabre places, please join our Patreon. And that will be linked into the description below. So, bye everyone.
Bye.